You are getting sleepy, very sleepy. Do as I say. I am the media. I am politicians. I am people that will think for you so you don't have to think for yourself. Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Day 1026 of What's She Up To Now. And self-hypnosis was our no-nonsense November topic today. And it's interesting. I think that our media and many of our politicians think that we can be easily brainwashed and hypnotized into believing whatever they say. There seems to be this false belief and false hope on several people's part that if we say something loud enough and often enough, and if we get enough people saying it, then it must be true. Well, think about when we believed that the world was flat. There were a whole lot of people saying it. Everybody, for the most part, believed it was true until some wise people woke up, thought for themselves, and proved it was bogus and that it was just made up and that all of those other people were wrong. This goes on every day in each and every one of our lives, whether we believe it or not. And often we don't believe it because we don't want to see what doesn't match up with our neatly ordered, happy little, organized, other people think for ourselves lives. So I don't really want to get on a huge rampage about this, but to me, it just feels like November is the culmination in the several year indoctrination into the media controlling things that they're trying to get other people to believe in. It's driving me nuts. I choose not to participate. I'm staying out of it. But oh my gosh, in the background, it's like just so much craziness and so many people falling for it. It's really heartbreaking. It's really sad to see so many amazing people being brainwashed and bullied and believing that that there's all this infighting going on in America when it's just not so, right? What you see in the media is so misrepresentative of what's actually going on in our country, it almost makes you want to throw up. You know, the lying about there wasn't anything that happened in Minneapolis with respect to rioting. Over 1,000 businesses were destroyed. And guess what, people? Insurance doesn't cover that. All the people that are saying, oh, well, they have insurance for that. That is so ignorant. If you've ever owned a business, you know acts of violence or acts of terror, which all of this rioting has been described and distinguished to be and proven to be, no matter what other people want to call it, your insurance doesn't cover you for that. Guess what? If somebody comes and well, I guess there's different stipulations, but for the most part, that is an ignorant and false statement and should be flagged as fake news. Now, I don't want to even get started on the media censorship and fake news and all the nonsense that's going on with that. I think our big players in social media are in for a rude awakening, a much-deserved rude awakening, in my opinion, totally in my opinion, in terms of how they have treated people and taken aside. Even I have had stuff that I share, which is pretty dang non-controversial, censored. And it's not about politics or either side or any, and guess what? There's a lot more sides than two sides in America, right? Red or blue, ridiculous, right? Nobody is aligned totally on these party lines except for a few really bad extremist groups. And you know, it's like the whole, we punish everyone or we treat everyone as if they have the same beliefs. It's so not true. So no nonsense November, self-hypnosis. And I think if we think about self-hypnosis and we think about the media and we think about what certain people do and say, it's in an attempt to hypnotize us and numb us to what's really going on. It's always to divert us and divert our attention to something they don't want us to see. I say, don't listen to the mainstream media. Think for yourself and look at what's going on really in the whole big picture and scheme of things, not just what people are calling your attention to see. Same thing online, even with online shopping or online everything. You're going to get scammed over and over again if you don't see through the BS and actually do a little homework and a little research. Even by big companies like Amazon and eBay, you're going to get scammed and you're going to get hurt if you don't. You know, it's like buyer beware, watcher beware when it comes to any form of media these days. That's it. Buyer beware, watcher beware. So no nonsense November was all about self-hypnosis, and I didn't talk anything about this, but it came to me afterwards as I'm talking about it. To throw the book at someone was our idiom for supersize your business today. Now, that's why the black robe. to throw the book at somebody, in my opinion, means you're going to set and make an example of them by giving them the harshest possible punishment for breaking the rule, breaking the law with respect to judicial system, or breaking a rule in your business or in your home or in your school or in your organization or in your club. Some people break a rule they don't even know is a rule, and they'll be banished for life, right? Back in the olden days, they used to banish people from the village if they made a mistake or if they did something wrong. That's a pretty big deal, right? And I think that we're seeing a lot of that in America right now, where people are overreaching and overstepping and just being ridiculous about things like COVID gatherings and holiday gatherings and canceling Thanksgiving for everyone because of COVID. Now, yeah, COVID is a serious thing. I'm not undermining that. But I know as an individual who is a high risk, it's my responsibility to do what's right for me and those I love and care about and take care of myself. And I think that the guidelines and the rules and the laws that are coming down treat us like we can't think for ourselves, like we don't have any control, like we're a bunch of animals that need to be caged up and you know, protected for our own good because we can't think for ourselves. And I find that insulting beyond measure, that politicians and leaders in our government, different government levels, are treating us as if we are too stupid to make decisions for ourselves. There are so many examples of that in our government. It's just scary, where, you know, we don't think businesses will do the right thing, so we're going to have all these agencies and overseers and laws to make sure they do the right thing. We don't believe people can make the right decisions for their kids, so we're going to make it the law that if they want to go to school, they have to be vaccinated with all these vaccines. You want to get really upset? Just do some research into the vaccination industry and see how horrified you will be to find out what's really going on. And they're doing the same thing with the COVID vaccine. They're rushing it through, and they're you know, making shortcuts. Now, I'm a person that's at high risk, and I will say right now, the chances of me getting a vaccine are slim to none, and for lots of reasons. But that's for each of us to decide and do our own homework and research on, not just take, you know, the media or some politicians' word as gospel on anything, right? You can't even take religious leaders' word as gospel on things in some situations. We need to think for ourselves. Fun challenge today was about the best party ever, the best party you've ever been to, which is really fun. We forget to go back and think about some of the awesome, amazing times we have. We don't have any trouble thinking of all the miserable times we've had in our life, but how often do we actually go back and revisit some of the greatest moments? We should do that every day. We should spend a couple of minutes just remembering our greatest hits, the greatest times of our life, because that would create more of those in our life. So working on my daily content, of course. Yesterday, granddaughter's super fun day. And we saw an old family friend I haven't seen in ages, because I've been kind of, you know, isolated and separated from other people because of COVID, right? Because we're going to be careful and we're going to take personal responsibility for ourselves. So that is basically what I'm doing and working on right now. Book is being edited and added graphics and supplemental materials to right now. What else is going on? Working on a summit for early next year. Have not decided on the exact framework, the number of speakers, the exact timing. I'm going to have to break out a calendar and look at that and work on that today a little bit. That's a good idea. Just thought of that. But it's also supposed to be nice today, so I am selfishly going to get outside and have an amazing walk, because it's probably the last relatively warm day without snow that we're going to have in many, many months. So I want to get some outdoor time. Have an awesome day. If I can help you anyway. Any questions about offline businesses? I've spent, 47 years running over 27 different businesses and industries in the offline world, and over a quarter century in the corporate world. And then I've moved the last almost 4 years online now. So any questions about any of that? If you're stuck and you don't have anyone to ask, one of my biggest frustrations coming through this online process and even having businesses of my own is I didn't always have my awesome corporate team of resources and people that I could go ask when I had a problem or a question or a concern or a thought or an idea. And sometimes we just don't have that person. I want to be that person for you. So no matter where you are, if you're stuck on something, I don't guarantee I have and am the resource and the answer for you, but I do know that I can help you get to that next step and identify and do the next thing so that you never have to feel stuck. All right, have an amazing day. I will be with you tomorrow to document my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the online world. Have an awesome day.